Hi, everyone. Welcome to this recording. This is Susie Church Brown. I'm with the Healthy Expat Parent, and this is a recording for those of you who have kids nearing the college application and college attending age. And so I'm here today with one of my favorite people. This is my eldest son, Lucca.
Hi, I'm Lucca.
He just finished his first year at university in Virginia at William and Mary. And so we're going to talk a little bit about just briefly about last year, applying, etc. And then really we're going to talk about what we did to get him ready to go last year. And then now we're rounding into year two. We have a little bit more experience, a little bit more knowledge, and how we're going to prepare this year. And so just the differences, not necessarily everything we did last year was incorrect. I would definitely not say that, but well, it's sort of like when you're to your third child and you know what you actually need versus what you think you need. That is the experience we're having now. So let's start with a couple questions about last year, Lucca. So he did the diploma program here at our school in our current country. Um, what was your experience with that?
In high school.
Yeah, when you were doing the DP.
But it was fun and yeah, it was a lot of work.
I don't think he's saying that like with enough emphasis. It was a crap load of work. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of papers. It was a lot of mostly papers, a lot of working together in groups, presentations, that sort of thing. What were your higher level courses?
I did high level geography, theater, and language and literature.
Okay, so when you're doing the DP program, you can pick up to 3 higher level classes. And depending on what your course of study might be, you might know what those are. Maybe you go more science-based, or maybe you want to pursue medicine, and so you do physics and maths. So anyway, this is what his areas of interest were that were offered at our current school. So how was it applying for university?
Well, it was like hard to narrow down. Actually, it wasn't hard to narrow down. I knew I had to go to school in Virginia. So when we toured the universities, I was just looking at the campuses and stuff. And I knew like my grades and like my essay writing ability. So I knew I could get into most of the schools if I wanted to. So it was really just about narrowing down from the choices that I
And when we were looking at campuses and schools, what sorts of things did we look at that you thought were helpful?
Well, for me, having grown up at international schools, I was looking for a smaller school. And that was probably the main thing. And I also wanted a more rural campus instead of a city campus. So that only left like UVA and William and Mary. And of the two campuses, I preferred William and Mary, so I just went with that.
Okay. And what did applying for university look like for you?
So I was doing a early decision because did my research and I knew I would have a lot of work in December. So my school is notoriously disorganized. Um, so like we had all the work piled up in one semester, basically. So I just wanted to get my application process over really fast. So I did the the Common App thingy, and then I had an essay for that, and then an essay for William and Mary, and that was all.
So those of you who are in the approaching rapidly the application period, um, there are many, many, many different mechanisms for applying to universities all over the globe, and they have different acceptance and notification periods. With early decision to a United States university, that means that you are essentially saying to that school that you are, if they accept you, you are definitely going to go to that school. You're not going to defer. You're not going to apply to other schools to see what your other possibilities might be. So this might be a good decision or option if you are certain where you want to go. And so he got to pick of the amazing schools in Virginia because we recently became Virginia taxpayers. So it is beneficial to our pocketbook that he go to a school in Virginia, many of which are amazing options. So it's not like he was shafted in that particular regard. So he heard for his acceptance. I think it was in November, right? Late November?
No, it was on my birthday in December.
December, right. So it was super fun to get that notification. And then it was kind of a relief for him as he watched his friends go through longer and longer application and notification periods. So what was that like?
It was really funny because I was the only one not suffering. And then when my friend Nick finally got in, then it was only the two of us not suffering. Like even my friends going to school in Australia, they didn't even get their uni stuff until like a few months ago. So like it was so nice and it was such a relief. And I would definitely recommend it. And even doing like early action, so it's non-binding, you still have a better, like higher application chance of getting it. And you know your decision early. So I think it's definitely worth looking into.
Especially considering the workload that comes along with DP, well, both years, but especially senior year. I think that is sound advice. So fast forwarding a little bit, we get to talking about things like shipments and what he needs for university. What did you think? What did you think you needed? Did you do any research?
Well, I mean, I just kind of knew what I wanted to have. I think that was all. And then obviously my parents helped me like get stuff that I would also need, like organizers, that kind of thing. But I didn't really have too much of a concrete thing, like a list, I think.
So Lucca's special skill is succeeding without necessarily planning a huge amount. Probably because his mother overplans considerably, so she plans enough for like 6 people.
Yeah.
But he one of the things that he really wanted was to have another monitor for his computer.
A single monitor. I needed it. It's not a want.
Okay, so that was something that we all agreed was probably a good idea, and he had one here in the house while he was studying. So, but then the other thing that I thought worked out really well for him was he once he was putting in for like thinking about living arrangements, a fellow Foreign Service family put a note out on College Bound, FS College Bound, I think it was, the Facebook group, and said, hey, my kid is going to William and Mary, and anyone else have kids that might be going there? Maybe we can connect them and they might consider to be roommates. So Lucca's roommate is also a Foreign Service kid. He spent the vast majority of his growing up time overseas as well. And so I think that sort of like life experience really helped them click. Would you say that you and your roommate get along well?
Yeah, very well. I think I couldn't ask for a better roommate, honestly.
And a lot of it is, I mean, obviously personality driven, but your experiences as well.
Yeah, it's like easy to relate to him because we obviously grew up in similar.
Yeah. So I feel like that well, certainly the Foreign Service group for FS Kids College Bound is a great way to connect with other Foreign Service families, but also maybe through the different parent groups that are available through the university. It might be a good option. So one of the other things that Lucca did before he went to university was he did like a summer week together with other kids going to William and Mary. What was that experience like?
It was pretty fun. It was just like it was good to get to know people before orientation even began. So I could always fall back on if I needed like a friend or something.
Kind of random assortment of people, right? Like there were kids of many
Yeah,
grade
like
groups. It wasn't just
my group had
freshmen.
like a horse girl, volleyball guy who I'm still friends with, and then a little doctor boy who I'm also still friends
But he also like made these friends. You know, it was very much interest um driven. This was sort of an outdoorsy sort of, and I want to use the word camp, but it wasn't really a
with. No,
camp.
it was camping. Our group was camping.
So it was
Yeah.
many, I think many universities offer this sort of thing just for like kids to get to know other kids. And it's a good opportunity to meet other kids that'll be at the school. Maybe they're a foreign service, maybe not, but probably they wouldn't necessarily be in any of your classes, right? Certainly not first semester.
Actually, me and one of the guys, we always were trying to get a class together every semester. So because they're like a general class together. So like we took an Italian class together last semester.
Okay, so you're still friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, so recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Okay, so we get to the States and we, of course, the school here doesn't align with the school there. So we have to do the one parent drop off, the other parent come back with the other kids. So Lucca and I did a lot of like pre-shopping where we got huge bins for storage and bought things like towels and sheets, etc. Like, you know, the essentials. I think we got 2 of everything, which helped on laundry days, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Target is definitely a great place to go. Not to like sell a brand or anything, but they sure do have a great selection of bedding and room things and organizing things, which I think came in super handy, right?
And I think if you go to a Target in a like a university town, they're definitely like they have a whole portion that's geared for back to school. So it like consolidates the amount of walking you have to do at Target.
So one of the they were in a dorm room that was a typical standard dorm room. Bathrooms down the hall, 2 desks, 2 beds, 2 closets, right?
Yeah.
So the beds, I think, in most college dorms are not typical twins. They are long twins, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that Lucca came back at Christmas time asking for was a pad for the mattress.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was super handy.
Yeah, that's like the most clutch thing.
And I can't remember what it was made of, but it's like just basically a thing of foam.
Yeah.
And we also got a mattress cover, which made my my germ phobic heart happy. Fast drying towels. But then we also got you like shower caddies. I mean, none of this is novel or amazing, right? This is all like usually on the lists of things that they recommend that you need. What were the like top 3 things that we got that were helpful for organizing or what have you?
Well, for organizing, like the mobile trolley caddy thingies, those are really good for putting food, because you can move them around easily. And then for organizing, I lofted my bed so it was higher. So it was like a good like 5 or 6 feet off the ground. So it was hard to get up, but I had a lot of space underneath. So it like opened up the whole room and I had way more like free space in the room, which was really, really nice. So I think that, and then also because I lofted my bed, I could put big like cupboards underneath it. So I did that. And because like we don't live in the US, we had my roommate and I had a lot more stuff than other people. Having that extra space underneath the bed was really useful.
Because you had to take your summer stuff
Yeah.
and your winter stuff.
Yeah, and then like suitcases and that kind of garbage.
Yeah, that's stateside living folks can go back and forth and leave stuff at parents' houses. And I guess we probably could have asked friends and family if we could leave stuff there, but I think that was nice for you to have that stuff there. I think another thing that you really, really appreciated having was the bike.
Oh yeah, the bike from our friends for free. It was really nice, and I would go as far to say that it was like crucial. because I could wake up later and I could go fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think most college towns have like bike shops where they sell used bikes, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a new one, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like that bike is probably a really good tool for you. Um, so fast forward a year, and now we're getting ready to send you to school again. And again, obviously preparing from overseas. So we'll be having to do a lot of purchasing online or sending you with an idea of what to buy. But the configuration of your room is different, right?
Yeah, I'm in an apartment style dorm with another JIT, so it's three of us now instead of just one. It's like that.
So many universities, I think, require undergraduate students to live on compound for at least 2 years. Some schools go as far as the entire undergraduate career. So that for me was an important consideration because although some of us may be very mature and ready to handle the world, there are others of us in this conversation that maybe feel like that extra bit of training wheels are a good thing. So having him on compound, but now in an apartment style, what does that look like? What is that? What is the configuration?
It's like one big little square, and then we have a kitchen. It's like segmented into two rooms, into three rooms: a kitchen, a dining room, and then like a living room. And there's two rooms, one for my two roommates, and then one for me. And then we have a toilet as well.
Okay, so in-house shower.
Yeah.
So that'll be handy because then they could leave their stuff in the bathroom rather than having to schlep it back and forth.
And then I don't have to wear shoes.
Yeah, shower shoes. Definitely shower shoes is a good thing. So what do you think? So obviously, we were just talking about, having to get furniture and stuff. Although I'm sure that they'll provide the basic furniture. And now we have to outfit a kitchen, so we need to think about that too. But what else do you think is going to be an important supply? What do you think that you need to bring with you? Like, do you feel like you'll still have to loft your bed?
I might loft my bed just because it's like out of habit now, and it's nice to have that extra space. So I probably will do that. And then I need like cleaning appliances probably. Like none of the three of us have a vacuum cleaner or like a squeegee or any of that kind of thing, and like bathroom cleaning supplies, which we never had to worry about before. So those are things that we'd have to consider.
Well, I guess so. The consideration would also be a cleaning schedule, like who does what, and everybody will have to take part in that. How are you going to manage that with your studies?
We'll just do them. It's only once a week. We can do like Sunday cleaning. It's not really that deep of a thing, and I think the three of us are all pretty organized.
Do you think that's a good thing to match on organization level?
Yes, definitely. Like some of my friends, I'm good friends with them, but I could never live with those guys because they're dirty little animals. Like me and my roommate, we had the cleanest room in our entire dorm, I would say. And all the other guys, it was just much, a lot more grime everywhere and like dirty clothes and stuff. But yeah, so that's definitely something that you have to consider.
Okay, so we can talk more maybe about like travel, etc., because there are allowances that are given and shipments that are allowed through for foreign service families and kids going to university. But I'd like to wrap this up with maybe if you could give 5 things that you would say is super helpful for a new freshman going to school. For the freshmen, maybe, or for the parents, what would you say? 5 things.
Probably like getting a good sleeping schedule. That's like number one, I think. And then like kind of as a subset of that, I think the mattress pad, like making sure you get good sleep. Um uh Having like some snacks. Because sometimes you don't want to go all the way out on a little expedition to get food. So it's nice to have some nice snacks. Like me and my roommates, we're gonna get like, I did a lot of yogurt, and then we did baby carrots and nuts, and those are like the main things we subsidized on. Those are good. Um, I like maybe having time by yourself. I think like for me, I like to go on like a little walk, but maybe that's not everyone's favorite thing to do. But having something where you're away from people is good, I think. Because you're always like my roommate, I love him, but he's still like an annoying little bugger who's always living with me. So it's nice to be away from him sometimes.
Okay, that was 3. 2 more.
I don't
So what kind of, how did you find your organization? What sorts of organization would you recommend?
I think it's kind of up to the person. Like I like to have stuff, and then be able to have it easily. But also my room, I ended up hosting a lot of things in my room, so it had to be pretty modular. So for me, the trolleys were good because they had wheels. But they're not very big or sturdy. So like maybe that's not what you need. So I think you just have to get into your space and then buy less than what you need. And then when you know the kind of stuff and like the layout of your room and how you want it, then you should buy some more.
So get some initial stuff that you know you'll need, and then
Yeah. So you get like
check it out,
bigger
get more.
things at first, and then maybe you get smaller things that are more organized after.
Okay. One more piece of advice.
This is kind of like a very niche thing, but my dorm had really bright lights. Like the ceiling lights were really, really bright, and they were just really annoying. So we got some lamps, and the lamps really made like a huge quality of life change. So maybe that.
No, that's good. I think that a lot of the industrial lights are very flat and bright white.
Yeah.
And you can't change the light bulbs to be a more human friendly sort of a light.
And then, oh, I got one more as well. So my dorm was old, so we didn't have air conditioning. So you have to have a way to fake being like asthmatic
Oh my
or like
goodness.
allergenic
Stop
so that you can get AC.
Stop talking.
Because AC is absolutely needed if you're living with a stinky little jit. So,
No, I feel like especially depending on where you are in the US, there are certain months that are quite hot. We did get you a good fan, so for that air circulation, but I do know that especially teenage boys tend to run a little hotter in temperature, so I'm sure that that came in handy having that AC. But I'm sure that all of you would follow whatever procedure is necessary in order to get that AC. We also rented you a fridge, right?
yeah,
That was helpful.
yeah. They had the microwave attached as well.
Yeah. I think many dorms have like a cooking area, like a kitchen area. Did you ever go down there and cook?
I didn't use it a single time. I used my laundry room and I put a kettle in there. Then I made ramen and tea and stuff in there. But the kitchen was way too filthy for me to use. So yeah, I never used it.
And there were a lot of rules about what kinds of appliances you could have in your room, right?
Yeah, but it's like up to the RA. So my RA really did not care
Okay.
about anything.
So that would have been good to know beforehand. The RA is a resident assistant, and they are typically an older class, an older college student, and they part of their job and part of that covers their lodging is to oversee a floor or a dorm, right?
Yeah, well, I think their main job is just like building a sense of community inside. Yeah. But my RA was lovely. And on having a good RA is not necessarily like a make or break your whole college experience, but it was really nice for me to have a nice, like chill RA. Because we could do a lot of things that we otherwise would have gotten in trouble for.
Okay, well, there you have it, a conversation with a college student and some of the things that helped him be succeed at university, and to words of advice that he would give to incoming freshmen. Hopefully this is helpful, and we will record some more talking about university life and how to manage expectations and succeed. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.